Live tonight, Architects of Humanity, distractions created by the state. And man, oh man, are there a lot of distractions happening right now. We're seeing the bull chasers on high alert, chasing all types of bulls, orange bulls, black and white bulls, hexagon type soccer. The soccer ball, some people also look at that as the adrenochrome ball, if you look at the pattern for it. And we also see many other things that are distracting people. What was it, a movie that just came out from one of the state-controlled movie makers, Steven Spielberg, the guy who produced E.T., and now it's some disclosure thing. UFOs. The fact when Biden came out with UFOs, I was like, wow, this has reached a level of desperation and basically a level of idiocracy. Idiocracy was a prophetic movie. It's funny because the shoes that they wore in Idiocracy, if you noticed, were Crocs. And if anybody looks up the chemicals that are used to make those shoes, I think you'll be a little astonished at what's in them and why people wear them. But I figured tonight there wouldn't be that many people around because it is ball chasing central. You got all type of ball chasing games. This is when grown men watch other men chase balls, basically, and cheer. They cheer. Distraction city. Remember, a distraction is anything that diverts your attention away from primary focus, which is the control that's being exercised over yourself and every other denizen around the world, but especially in America. Somebody had left a comment, I think, about being in the UK. They said the UK is the front row seat now. And it probably is. I mean, some of the stuff I've heard of going on over there is it just makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder. The people behind the scenes, man, I don't know what to say for people that don't see it. Again, we are the survivors in the zombie apocalypse of the mentally dead, because a lot of people aren't trying to think. They don't want to know. So that's the difference. There's one thing about not knowing, but there's a whole other thing about not wanting to know. Mr. X, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you, MD. Just tuning in. What were you saying about not knowing and not wanting to know?
I said it's a difference between somebody who doesn't know and somebody who doesn't want to know.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. So we see the not knowing, the people who are not knowing, and then you see the people who don't want to know. Like, they're happy. You can't even force it. They will.
Would you say they're the majority? The people who don't want to know? Do you think they're the majority?
Oh yeah. The majority. Yeah. You see it. Anything political that you bring up. When Biden and them brought out the UFOs, I saw a level of desperation in government, or it could have been that they knew the level of stupidity and ignorance had reached a certain state throughout society that they could break that out, because it was clearly put out there like a distraction. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, people are just, and the crazy thing is people fall for it. They're like, oh man, and now I think, what was it, last night or today, that Steven Spielberg came out with the so-called UFO movie Disclosure or something like that.
Yeah, it was today. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I want to see that movie, actually.
It's just that, that's part of the distraction. That's why I made this thumbnail with the government generals, the generals and the scientists, the military generals, the scientists, the politician behind the two-way glass, watching a population of idiots, basically. And that's not an insult. That's a description. Mm-hmm. A population of mentally dead zombies, looking at ball chasers and UFOs in the sky on the right of the picture. This is why I specifically crafted this type of a picture. Remember, it all goes back to stuff like this. Some of us remember this day, and it's just, I mean, the arrogance, the ignorance, the horror of it, the fact that again, people are distracted. What did he say after the 9/11? Oh, go out and shop, make the economy better, you know?
Go to Disney World. Yeah.
Yep, and that's because people have nothing upstairs. You shine the light in one side, comes out the other side of the air. The nurse sits there, writes down what has been observed, and basically, it's coming to the birthing chambers, man.
Hmm.
People, China ain't playing around, man. China ain't playing around. I
No.
had put it in the community post, but yeah, yeah, man. You know, the $90 billion for the moon mission. $90 billion for what many would say is a totally uh, a fabricated moon. I think all of them were people. I'm very surprised that people would just believe the government straight out. I'm just, you know what? Matter of fact, I shouldn't be surprised. I shouldn't be surprised. It should be expected at this point.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm about to say. You should expect it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like expecting an evolution is not the lie. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen.
Hmm. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I see them, and they're all ganging up on Kent Hovind. I mean, even though Kent is definitely psychopathic level religious, but the man's science is on point. You cannot
It
argue
is.
with it. It's
It is.
he's presenting scientific facts. That's why I think it hurts his presentation when he brings in the religious part. You know, I think it really does. And all people who believe in a certain religion, if they're trying to talk about evolution in a scientific way, to say, look, scientifically, this is not possible. It is
Hmm.
very improbable for this to happen.
Right.
And
Based on the science, it's not possible.
yeah,
Based on the
exactly,
science.
exactly. And they have to keep the faith separate, far away. They can't even bring that up because it'll push people toward the religion of evolution, because there'll be evolution is a distraction. Again, the topic of the at hand, distractions created by the state. Evolution was created by the state. Sports created by the state. The whole any type of panic is created by the state. I've noticed that there's ways to tell a population certain things that will enable them to see it with a calm and clear mind. That never happens. When I look back and I think of what the previous generations went through before us, of having to duck under a school desk in preparation for a nuclear attack. I mean, how fear mongering, fear inducing is that?
Hmm.
To have adolescent school and adolescents. John Taylor Gatto pointed something out very well. He said adolescent doesn't even exist. He goes, it's childhood and adulthood. That's it. He goes, adolescence is an extension of childhood, and it's to keep people in that state. Now, you have some people that walk from childhood into adulthood at a young age, even prepubescent. Now, this has nothing to do with saying that the person is sexually advanced. It's saying they're mentally. You see kids uh, that are 7 and 8 years old that have more common sense than 30-year-old adults.
Absolutely. Sad, but true. It really is.
Yeah, but now you don't. Now it's like that whole adolescent thing that they brought in is what changes. You know, they say, "Oh no, they're not a child, but they're not an adult." You know, a little closer to the child. It's like so Benjamin Franklin, who supposedly was a lawyer and all that stuff, uh, at 16, which was normal, which was supposedly normal back then. Um, none of that can exist. That has to be an extraordinary account now. There's a little girl. I have to look it up. She's a genius. I don't know if she's in Mexico or if she's in Texas, from Mexican descent, and she has a higher IQ, they're saying, than Einstein and Stephen Hawking.
Really?
Yeah, she's about to get, I think, a master's degree. I think she's like 11 or something.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Wow. I have to look
yeah.
that up.
And see, these are the things that I would like people who try to play that whole superiority crap So you'll be like,
Hmm.
well, what about stuff like this? And then it'll be, oh, well, that's an anomaly. That really, she's smarter than you. She's smarter.
Yeah, that right there, that shows that there's no superior race. I mean, you got to go with the evidence. You
Exactly.
know, you got to go with the evidence.
Exactly. And this is evidence upon evidence because it's not a single event.
Right.
They have a kid in the UK. I think that kid was like under 10 and had like one of the highest IQs in the Genius Institute of the UK is called Mensa. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, and it's just like wow, when you get inducted into something like that, you're extremely academic at that point. But the ball chasers tonight, I guess it's a bowl game going on from yesterday to today. I think the
Well, they
soccer.
got the World Cup going on. Yeah. Oh, I was about to say the World Cup. I think that's the ultimate ball chasing because we only look at America, but on a worldwide basis, soccer is king on
Yeah.
the world stage and the FIFA World Cup. I mean, I've heard of stories of people going and selling their homes, selling everything they had to go buy tickets to a game. Somebody told me about somebody that
What?
did that. Yeah. They
Oh,
basically sold their house, used their life savings just to get tickets to the World Cup because I think it was a Colombian team too. It was there from Colombia. Yeah.
unbelievable, man.
Yeah, they take ball chasing to a whole different level because the people get killed, they fight. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
take ball chasing to a whole different level.
Wow. The ball chasers, some serious ball chasers, man. It just,
And
it's
that's
like,
exactly what they're doing in soccer. They're chasing that ball. You
oh
know?
yeah, they're chasing the ball. And I think one of their top soccer players, Cristiano Ronaldo or something like that.
Oh,
I think,
Ronaldo. Yeah.
yeah, I think he was given like some type of golden cup from Toronto Dump. And
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just like, this is just on another level. He was the when he started a YouTube page, they said he was a person that went to 20 million subscribers in like a day or two. He was like the quickest person to reach 20 million as soon as he got a YouTube page. So it's just like, man, yeah, Mr. Super Sidewinder, what's up? It says ball chasers suck. Yeah, yeah, they definitely, and I think that not to demean them because they're in a state of mind control. They're in a serious state of mind control to where they can get violent. If you interrupt their ball chasing events, even
Oh,
when they're
yeah.
watching them on television, they
Yeah.
can get very violent. And remember, most of the time they're inebriated with alcohol, drug foods,
Mhm.
and
Although,
surrounded. Huh?
and I was going to say in Alabama, I can't remember what year it was, but there was, you could look it up. The Alabama University of Alabama lost a game, a big game. I think it was a championship game. And afterwards in a restaurant, nothing to do with the game actually. There was a lady who I guess another lady took offense to the fact that she was smiling too much and killed her.
What?
And yeah, it was in Alabama. A woman after the Alabama team lost the championship, she was in a restaurant and she noticed a lady smiling too much and she thought, how can she be so happy after this and actually killed her. Yeah. Based on the fact she thought because she was laughing and this and that. She just thought,
Thinking that,
it's Alabama. They got to be angry about the fact that the team lost and somebody was
yeah.
happy. Yeah.
Wow. There was that thing that happened recently of the guy, uh, he offed his wife, tried to off her daughter, and
Hmm.
then he ended himself
Oh,
over
the
in
San Francisco 49er game. Yeah.
right in Florida, right? It was like,
Hmm.
I said, this is crazy, man. And nobody looks at that as a problem. You notice that will never, if that was something different, like say a music song or something
Hmm.
else, they'll say, well, that song influences, it, influences people to harm themselves and others, but not ball chasing. Not ball chasing. Ball chasing can have as much violence and murder or whatever it is, and it will never be blamed. It's kind of like alcohol. No
Hmm.
matter what anybody does on alcohol, it's never alcohol's fault. It's always drive responsibly.
Hmm.
Keep using this drug that is known to cause certain ailments in the body, and never blame it. But if it's heroin or any type of hard drug, oh, those drugs are bad. We got to get them off the street. Those drugs are the problem. But it's never alcohol being the problem too.
No.
It's never alcohol. It's always, well, you got to be responsible when you drink alcohol. It I mean, when I just look at the madness of the frame of thought throughout society, it's shocking. It's very
Yeah.
shocking, man.
And I remember my daughter when she did soccer, and she didn't really care much about soccer, so but you'd see the other parents just so intense, like they're playing for the World Cup. I mean, yelling at the kids, getting angry, and it's like they're freaking kids for crying out loud. Just let them have fun.
Hmm.
The whole point is for them to learn, sportsmanship and teamwork, and it's not to. They're acting like they should be playing for a championship. You know what I mean? It's just maddening, the mentality of the ball chasers. You
Yeah.
see it with the kids. They think they're playing in a high stakes game, and they're freaking kids. They just got into this world, and yeah, it's a sad situation. It really is, the ball
Soccer
chasers.
moms are dangerous.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Even men too. I saw a lot of men. They
Yeah.
were just nutcases.
Soccer
You know what I mean?
parents, yeah, like
Soccer
soccer.
parents in general, or I mean, you could apply the same thing to any sport. Um, they just, yeah, yeah. It's sad. I mean, it's just like they're freaking kids for crying out loud. Let them have a little fun. They got the rest of their lives to compete. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You know?
It's not about fun at all.
No.
It's about teaching them to be hyperactive, fanatical ball chasers. It's
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah. And then I see kids cry with the parents yelling at them because they made a mistake. It's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what?
Yeah. Brother Ali, good to see. He said drink cell here, so guilty. Yeah, the drink cell, man. Have to admit, it's a relaxation. Mr. Superside wanted 31 flavors of poison. Yeah, that's the what's that? The Baskin Robbins, I think, 32 flavors or something.
Hmm. But you mix in a ball chaser with alcohol and you got a dangerous person in your hands.
Hmm.
You really do. Because their team's losing, they could go ballistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's when the fight starts.
yeah, it
Yeah.
gets crazy. I mean, I used to see myself for the MMA fights and even boxing. I never watched it that much, but I was there when the UFC started
Hmm.
in the '90s. I met the Gracies, everything, and it. I remember watching certain fights and being, you're looking at the screen, being involved, and we almost went to an event in Jersey once. I think they were in Jersey
Hmm.
with John Jones and stuff, but thank goodness I was just too lazy, because I was like, man, so we got to take a trip for a couple of hours to watch some dudes beating the hell out of each other in a cage and or in a ring.
Hmm.
And I
But they're
was
not ball chasing, at least. They're beating each other up.
yeah, at least you're learning something. Like when I looked at the martial arts, I would say, okay, this is preventing if you ever get in a situation, you see certain things that, say, okay, this could be relevant in a fight.
Hmm.
But again, it's like violence. A friend told me the other day, he goes, man, he goes, I can't even watch it anymore. And he remembers from the '90s when it was, at the top. And he goes, yeah, man. He goes, I just start to look at it as I don't want to see two people beat each other up. And I was like, you're advancing, you're maturing. I said,
Mm.
we all had to mature. I remember watching that. We would watch the tapes over and over in the mid '90s when it first came out.
Oh, yeah. When it was really a bloodbath, I remember.
Oh man, it was full blown, no rounds, no time limit. It was
Hmm.
just brutality. And yeah, gladiator games.
It was. I remember some guy getting knocked out, punched in the face, and the guy just wouldn't stop, and the guy was already knocked out. And
Yeah,
other guy just kept punching him.
really. I mean, I loved it, man. Brother Ali says, I love MMA and combat sports. Watching balls to me felt boring and say Gex. Yes, the ball watching, I was never, yeah. Chemo versus that was yes. I remember that fight, man, when he was pulling his hair and then he put him in the arm lock eventually. Yeah, that was something, man. Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days where I was really, really involved in it, man. Now, I remember that I think that was UFC 3 with the Harold Howard and yeah, there was some crazy stuff in that one. I think now when I look back at it, I wonder how much of it was fixed, and not fixed in the way of somebody that can't fight. Like when you get somebody that can fight and stuff like that, it's like you can guide certain fights, like with the games, especially
Hmm.
the ball chasing games. I don't see how they're not fixed. And some people have suspected this. Some one guy told me with the Floyd Mayweather fight, I think it was something like an astronomical amount, like $300 million or something like that. I'm not sure if that's correct, but a lot of money.
Hmm.
The guy claims to have like a watch that's worth like over 10 million. It's crazy. And the one guy told me, he said, you're not going to have that type of money exchange hands without people knowing where it's going.
Right.
He goes, as real as it may look, he goes, you would never believe it. And he goes, if you really look at it, he goes, anybody can be beat. He goes, and then when you have people in other people's camps, they would train a person and they would have a weakness. Like when Joe Lewis fought Max Schmeling, and Max Schmeling looked at the tapes and he noticed when uh, Joe Lewis used to throw a certain punch, he would drop his left hand or something, and that's how he knocked him out. Like he timed that, like okay, he's going to do this, and the left hand is going to come too low, and that's the opening to hit him. And he was smart enough when they asked him during interviews before the fight. He goes, I noticed something, but he didn't give it away. And then the second fight, Joe Lewis just annihilated him, put him in the hospital, and then went to visit him. And the two of them became very good friends, from what people said. And I think there might be a movie about it. And Schmeling, when he lost that fight, Hitler put him in the war. Hitler
Mm.
threw him to the dogs, and Americans were they said that Americans were looking to get him because it was like a trophy if they could kill him and get the dog tags for Max Schmeling. But he survived, and Fanta was the Nazi version of Coca-Cola
Right.
in Germany. So he became, I think, a millionaire off of that, and he uh he came back and searched for Joe Lewis. I heard, because Joe Lewis was in financial troubles because Joe Lewis used to give away purses, but the IRS came after him saying, "Look, if you have 100 grand and you give it away, you still owe us 30.
Mm.
So
That's
you can
right.
only give away 70." And he was that's when he had to go back to fight Rocky Marciano to pay off the tax. And I think he lost, but it also looked like a staged fight because for some reason that whole superiority thing, they just could not take the fact that Marciano was a middleweight, and these heavyweights like Lewis would just crush him if he
Hmm.
fought. And he was past his prime and all of this, but even that, I think they made him take a fall to be like, look, if you fight him, you're still not going to have enough to pay us.
Right.
But if you take a fall, we'll give you enough. And this has been talked about on many modern martial arts fights. Um, Games too. When you look at the basketball games, people talk about them being rigged.
Oh, I definitely think there's some rigging going on there. I wouldn't be surprised if this series they're up 3-1. We'll see, because there's so much money involved when it goes to seven. You're talking about advertising and the viewer, you know what I mean? You're
Mhm.
talking billions of dollars if it, lasts the whole series.
Yeah, and they're not going to let that switch around by chance.
Hmm.
They're going to know exactly what they're doing. The distraction, and then on top of that, all of that is in the mix.
Hmm.
And then you have the distraction element,
Yeah.
anything that diverts the attention. So, and people would say, divert from what? The primary focus of who's controlling you, the crooks,
Yes. Yes.
diminishing all of our ability to process desired information. This can fall into two categories generally: physical noises, phone
Mm.
notifications, interruptions, and internal daydreaming, stress, fatigue, which all can be happening from an external force. Uh, Somebody's in class and they daydream. It's because you're bored. You don't want to be sitting there. I mean, You notice
Sure.
daydreaming doesn't exist anymore,
I know.
right?
It's
It's
true.
either it's they're quick to give you a pill. They turned it into a sickness that you have to get a pill for. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
Ritalin. Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Super Sidewinder says anything Vegas makes book on is rigged. Yeah. They that's like it should be called Rigged City instead of Sin City, Rigged City.
Mhm.
And yeah, but when if anybody looks up distraction, just to know exactly, say, look, it's always good to check definitions so you'll know if they try to change a definition too. But a distraction, entertainment is a distraction. And to understand the nature of the interruption, right? The first step is to manage it. And we who can see through the ball chasing fiasco that they put out I mean, it just a thinking person would wonder, why is it every freaking season all year long they have a different ball chasing event,
Mhm.
right? I think the football players play through the winter. You got the soccer ball,
Fall. Well, they're
right?
the fall. Yeah.
The fall, and then they play through the winter to the Super Bowl or no?
Well, yeah, the beginning of winter, like usually the Super Bowl's like what, February or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So then maybe what is it? Basketball?
Basketball, and then the summer is baseball.
Yeah,
And hockey's
baseball.
right in there in between the winter, but it's a puck, you know what I mean? So it's a
Yeah,
puck.
and soccer. So soccer, being that this is the World Cup, they must have started a couple of months ago to get to this, right?
Yeah, I don't know the details of the World Cup. I guess they have it every few years.
Yeah, yeah.
Different cities host it. And
Hmm. Yeah, so soccer, and then of course you have these other ones thrown in there, golf, which is just I don't even know what to say.
I actually like golf. I play a little bit, but yeah, it's fun. It's like I say, I'm part zombie too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, yeah, we all got a little bit of zombie, man.
Mhm.
It's Super Side One says New York City, Sin City. It was. I don't think it is I don't think it is now, but it used to be Sin City. Brother Ali says it's every 4 years for Fife. Okay, okay. He says my dad plays golf, but it's boring for me. So, yeah, it's very boring. I mean, I like to look at just the green and the nature, but then it's so sprayed. I can't watch the game. It's just too boring. But you
It
know,
is. If you don't know like what it's about, I can
yeah, you
understand.
have
It's
to.
more strategic. The game is.
There's a serious problem with people getting sick on those fields, right?
No, I
From
didn't. I think you had mentioned it, but I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
know
if you
what
look
it
it
was.
up, man, if you look it up, there is like they spray it. They used to use a spray that was so toxic on the grass, they were finding dead birds, and they had to swim. Matter of fact, I remember a guy. He told me he had used it. He used to do lawns, and he goes, man, he goes, there was it was like very very chemical danger. And they say, I don't know if it's the groundskeepers plus the players, but they have a higher instance of certain illnesses, and they're saying it comes directly from what they spray on the fields. And you know it just you look at that and you say, in Queens, New York, over here, they have golf courses, but the kids have to play on cement playgrounds.
Right.
That's the irony of it. That's the irony. Golf is a good game to make connections with wealthy and connected people. Now that I can agree with, that I can say.
Well, you got to
No,
belong to the right country club. In
okay,
theory,
yeah,
yeah, I understand what he's
yeah,
saying, but you got to belong to the right country club. They played exclusive clubs that
yeah.
you really
Okay.
can't get into. Members only. You know what I mean?
Mm, mm. So
Yeah.
you'd
Like
have
if you
to
play
get
the
into
public
that club.
courses, you won't be direct.
You'd have to get into that club to get the if you could even get in, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, I could
Right.
see
They're
that. I
usually
remember
like they start 100 grand a year.
because I had a friend
Yeah.
that lived in Fresh Meadow, Queens, and it was a golf thing. And I think there's a lot of pollution in the runoff water from all the spraying. There was some type of article years ago. Because I was shocked when he told me. He goes, "Yeah, there's a golf course." I said, "Wow, in Queens?" I said, "This is crazy, man." That the fact that you got kids in cement playgrounds, but then these old men are playing golf. You know that movie Falling Down. They had that great scene with them golfing,
Hmm.
and as he's walking across the golf field with his knapsack. Remember after he lost it, Michael
Right.
Douglas, and then the guy's like, I forgot what he did. He hit the ball, yeah, and it almost hit Michael Douglas in the head. And that's when he lost it, and he pulled out the shotgun from the bag.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and then I think he shot at the guy, like he shot at the golf cart, and the
Hmm.
golf cart went into the water, and the guy started having a heart attack, and but the pills were in the golf cart, and it had already went to the lake and was sinking. And his friend tried to run, and Michael Douglas is telling him. I mean, that movie was a pretty good movie in showing, when somebody snaps,
Right.
you know, and what the guy was just like at his point, and he walks through certain parts. The one part where he's in the park and a few like gang members come up and try to tell him, oh, you're in our park, and then he lost it on them, pulled out. I think he had an Uzi. I forgot how
Hmm.
he got that bag of weapons, but
I forget. Was it remember you went to a white supremacist store or something like that, some Army Navy store, and there was a guy, bald
that
guy.
could have been, yeah, it could have been, yeah, because it's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, that could have been where he acquired those weapons. Or it makes me wonder because yeah, it was a good movie. I have to admit, it was a very thinking movie. And those are the ones that I think are good. Those are the ones that are worth watching. Mark Brahman, good to see you. He says after drive by. Okay, so I think maybe there was a point in the movie where there was a drive by.
I think
Um,
so. Yeah. I
yeah.
can't remember the details, but I remember there was some. He was shooting at some gangsters. I can't remember the details though.
Okay. Yes, I do. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think there was an accident. Yes.
Oh, that's where he got the weapons. You're right.
Yeah.
That's where he got the weapons.
Yeah, they crashed or something, and then he took the bag, and that's where he got the bag of order. Because I remember, if I remember correctly, the Uzi was automatic, so you're not going to be able to buy that in a gun store.
That's true.
Yes, Mark is the man. He said they got the bag off the kids and failed. Yes, wow, thanks, bro. That's yeah, man. Falling down. That was some of the movies that wake us up and keep us more aware. Those are the good ones if we can see through it and not just look at it as a form of entertainment. But we do know that there are a lot of movies. I think the UFO thing is a distraction. um, I think the ball chasing games are distractions. Even the political commentary that's constantly bombarded at people. It's a soap opera of distractions.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that they're taking the name, this buffoon put his name up on the John F. Kennedy Center.
Hmm.
I mean, this is like a publicity stunt, and they're taking Dump's name off of the building. And I'm like,
Hmm.
how could you even allow that to happen? That's the John F. Kennedy Center. So it was a memorial made for someone, and you have, I mean, this is like a bad joke that somebody would be able to do something like that. To be like, to me, it's like it's all scripted. It has to be scripted.
Has to be at this point. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
getting ridiculous.
And then you see Sylvester Stallone come out and try to say this guy's like a George Washington and stuff. I mean, it's really sad. It's really, really sad because, I mean, and again, he was a major distraction. Champ stamp. Yes. You can buy semi-auto Uzis in different. Yeah, you can definitely get the semis, but I think in the movie he had the fully auto.
Yeah.
He had got it off the gang members in the bag. But yeah, you're right about that. The semis. Yeah, the Uzi 9mm. Yes, that's one heck of a weapon. I mean, snub nose, concealable. But with the distractions, understanding the nature of the interruption is the first step to managing it. So we understand
Yes.
that the UFO, the ball chasing, all the nature of the interruption. Uh, the trigger by the environment, social media alerts, television, background conversations, or visual triggers as well. In
Hmm.
terms, we know the mind, body, including hunger. Hunger gets us to, somebody go get a crap burger or something. Illnesses, man, rumination, or just basically general lack of interest, something like that. But and then we have the cognitive, the versus the physical, which is the thinking versus the body, and you can categorize them as how broadly they affect a person, such as taking someone's eyes off a visual task, or hands off manual, or the mind off of the task. The cognitive, that's probably the biggest one. It distracts the mind. And you
Yeah, if
know
you get caught up in all this stuff, the political or the ball chasing, it could literally drive you insane.
it
You think
can
about
it
it. Yeah.
can it could really drive you insane. um Tuesday says, congratulations on winning the NBA championship, y'all. Stay safe up there,
Was
please.
that game tonight?
I didn't know. I don't
Yeah.
watch sport. Congrats on the NBA. I guess the Knicks, I guess, because I've heard
Yeah.
people.
Oh, I thought, oh, they won in San Antonio.
I
I
don't
thought
know.
it
Yeah.
was tomorrow night.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Tuesday, but I have never watched.
Yep, they won it tonight. They won it.
Wow. I mean, I played a little basketball, but I never enjoyed it. I just, guys would be playing, and it just, I mean, yeah, basketball was never really, or even base. I played baseball as a kid, and I always noticed you had to be careful not to get hit with the ball. I mean, people could get seriously injured. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck? We're like 10 years old, and it's hardball. It's like it could kill you almost.
Hmm.
And it's just like, what the heck are we doing? And then football, I played like the first, I think it was like junior high maybe, and then it was just, I was like, I'm not putting on all these pads. It's like, I tell people, it's like, okay, so I don't want to take a shower with 20 other guys, and I'm the one that's the problem. So you
Hmm.
find that's weird that I don't. So if I wanted to do that, it wouldn't be weird. But the fact that I don't want to do that, it's like I'd rather go home and take a shower.
Hmm.
And that whole communal shower thing spreads athlete's foot. Uh, it's just, I mean, I ain't trying to that. Yeah, I was like, man. Flip Side Night Owls. Was that a movie? I don't know. Yeah, yeah,
One
but
thing
yeah,
about the football, though, like if I had a son, one thing for sure, like I wouldn't let him step on the field unless he knew how to wrestle. You know what I mean?
not
So
even
many.
that. Like one guy, he's a
Mhm.
stand-up comic in Seattle.
Mhm.
I met him online back in around 2011, and they did a comedy show on Blog Talk Radio, but they were very like political in the sense of like um like they would talk about issues, a lot of racial issues and stuff. And I remember he told me he was 6'9". He's a black guy that's 6'9",
Mhm.
very tall guy. And he said that they moved to Seattle from Wisconsin. His father was very conscious. And he goes, they, of course, as a teenager, I guess he was big, being very tall. And he goes, he brought home the paper because the adult, you had to have your parents sign the paper so you could play football in
Right.
high school in case you got hurt. And he goes, his father told him, so you want me to sign this so other people can hit you?
Hmm.
Like, you must be crazy. And he never signed it. And he goes, my father knew something, because people get destroyed for their whole life just by high school or college football.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I was about to say. Is I've seen people get really hurt badly.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't get hurt that badly. I played 1 year because I knew how to wrestle. But
yeah.
if I didn't know how to wrestle, I would have been messed up.
Oh
I would
yeah,
have been messed up big time.
yeah.
It's so dangerous, especially if you're playing on the line.
Oh yeah. It's
It's very
extremely
dangerous.
dangerous. I mean, I didn't like, it definitely keeps you in shape. I remember we had to run around the field and stuff, and it was, to have to do that. I can't remember if I was in eighth or ninth grade, because it was right. I think it was junior high, because once I got to ninth grade, that's when I was much more bold and just in cutting school and not going.
Hmm.
Eighth grade was a little harder, seventh and eighth grade in junior high, because that was a separate school. It was a very bad school that used to have race riots and stuff. Uh, I'd say about 5 years prior when I was in elementary, but everything kind of chilled out by the time I got there. And seventh and eighth grade, even though it still had violence, it was just it was harder, I noticed, to cut out or do any. I mean, I think the first time I cut school I was in sixth grade, and this kid that I knew, he was the one that kind of influenced me on it. And we cut school, but we got caught later. Like, I think his parents saw us and they told, so it wasn't like we got caught in the act, but it was later. Brother Ali says, I hypocritically went ball chasing myself, went down to Microscope 3D pinball, old game from the mid. Yeah, hey, I got to admit, man, the pinball, yeah, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I boxed and wrestled with my buds, but she didn't want me to do them for school or for competition due to Parkinson's. What? Yeah, you have to be. It's good to, without a doubt, it's good to know how to box and wrestle. Wrestling, it's priceless.
It really is.
It really is, man.
But you
Uh,
got to know what you're doing too. You know.
oh, you
That's,
do. Rest in
yeah.
peace, mom. Yes, man. I agree, brother Ali. Yeah, the I saw a video a couple, like, I'd say about 2 years ago, a couple years ago. They were training on the mat in, grappling. So it's more, wrestling is tough, I have to admit. When you
It
train,
is.
it's a lot of pressure. In grappling, there's parts where guys aren't even, like, pressuring. It's very loose and relaxed because, you're looking to put on like a kill hold. And
Hmm.
there was a move where they got in a wrestling position where one guy is on all fours and the other guy's, like, on his back, kind of to the side. I
Yeah.
don't know what it's called, where you got your hand around his waist or something and you start like that.
Right.
And the guy, there was some move where he held his hand. So the guy on all fours now, you're going to push him over, and his head's going to, he's not going to be able to use that arm to brace it. But it broke the guy's neck, and it broke
Yeah.
it in a very soft fashion. It wasn't like a hard thing. It was where the body, the arm couldn't defend the neck. And it took, I think the guy eventually healed, but it took over a year. He wasn't like totally the same, but it just showed me when I saw that, I was like, holy smokes, little things that aren't even moves
Mhm.
that you can get hurt, like, like severely. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even like
Absolutely.
he was in a hold or a finishing move. It was just a kind of just a position where you can lay on somebody on the side, and now that pressure alone can break their neck. And I was like, it scared me when I saw that. I was like, holy smokes, that could have happened. You know,
Mhm.
um, in Islam, boxing, Muay Thai, and sports involved hitting the face are forbidden because the most important senses are on your face. Yeah, man, that makes sense, man. I mean, karate, right, or karate as they call it. The guy that created that in Japan, it was he didn't want people to spar full contact. There was a point where he came and saw students doing that, and he disciplined them, like, severely, like had them like doing exercise and stuff, saying you never go full contact. And I heard Muay Thai is kind of like that too. Like, when they fight, it's fight, but when they train, you have to be very careful. And this is uh I can understand that. It says my dad is a brown belt in karate and he never boxed. Yeah, I'm telling you, karate is deadly, man. If to that's an art, really. But Muay Thai is a deadly art too. It's just that you got to be careful because many guys have broke their legs kicking. You know,
Mm, yeah.
if you kick incorrectly, they can snap their own shin. But you can also, if you kick correctly, it's deadly. But as far as this goes, learning it to protect yourself is not too much of a distraction as far as the distractions created by the
Oh, I
state.
agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
it
But it's
becomes.
important to protect yourself because we got an evil world out here.
Yeah, you have to be when you know how to protect yourself, you actually get into less fights. I
I
know.
agree.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely noticed that when I was training with Hoist Gracie and Henzo and them. I got into a few street fights, but it got into much less than what I had, problems I had prior. And you just you become calmer in some sense. Not for everybody. I've seen some guys. You see the videos; they just become monsters in some way. Uh, but most of the guys are more like chilled out, and because you know what you can do. You're not really, martial arts. I think is good in
Hmm.
to an extent, but it can get zombie addiction. And I was zombie addiction watching it in the 90s, and by the time I think once it got to UFC 10, I don't even remember 11 because it was just like so many rules came in. It
I want
wasn't,
to ask you something too.
huh? What's that?
I wanted to ask you something too, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
okay, I didn't want to distract you. But okay, here's the thing. You've mentioned in the past how you think the heterosexual male is in the minority, right?
Yeah,
Okay, like when we talk about like people who are aggressive in fights, do you think sometimes, not all the time, but a lot of times they could be non-heterosexual men? Because why would somebody want to start shit
I think a
randomly with
lot of
another man?
you're absolutely right. A lot of them are. I've noticed that in training, like not
Hmm.
openly to where they're like that, but I'm like, you know what? If a lot of them definitely give off that vibe. Like not all. There's definitely I wouldn't even say it's a majority, but in the it's like a type of and I hear what you're saying. It's like a
Yeah.
physical dominance where the guy can do anything. Basically, he can grape someone, another guy.
Yeah, that seems to be the motivation because like I never want to F with other guys for no reason. I
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah, you don't want to, yeah, and
I have no
also,
interest in it. I have
yeah,
no interest in it. Yeah.
objective, brother. Good to see you, man. He says any striking style is deadly if you master the techniques and can stay on your feet. Most fights end up on the ground, though, so grappling is invaluable.
I
Absolutely,
agree. I agree.
absolutely, man. Grappling, wrestling, invaluable, man. But there
Plus,
are
it allows a lot of gross motor skills too. Because when you're in the fight, you got our adrenaline pumping. You can't be remembering all these techniques. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, it's very. You have to be much, much trained. But I have to admit, objectives got to play. If you got good striking skills, if you're standing on the feet, you can end that. And
Sure.
the one thing I did learn because I trained grappling first mostly, even though I did box a little. But the grappling, you just can't use it against 2 3 people. You'll get destroyed. It's like the only chance you have is to evade or use a striking style. I mean, you
Yeah.
might get away if you're good with like some aikido, jujitsu, judo type of thing, but you don't want to stay attached to anybody because the other guys will be hitting on you. you
Well,
know
I would never go one-on-one boxing. I would go right after the legs. I'd be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
going,
you don't want to. And the thing is, you'd have to be very careful in saying, okay, can this guy sense I'm going to go and try to get a single or a double on him?
mhm,
Because some of those guys are good at like timing that punch. You know what I mean? And if they
sure, sure.
catch you right, so because I've seen so many fights and watch so many on tape, it's like I was the biased guy thinking, no, you can just grab him and take him down. And I've seen guys get knocked out. I'm like, holy smokes.
Well, if I did take him down, the whole object is to get the hell out of there as soon as possible. Once you get
Yeah,
a break, get the hell out of there, not to stick around, of
yeah, you
course.
don't want to. Yeah, exactly. Well, these were guys. They didn't knock them out once they got taken down. They never got to get to take them down. So
Oh, okay.
when the guy was going to get the takedown, the guy was just, I guess, versed enough in backing up just enough to catch the punch right or threw it right as he jumped in. Like there was a fight between Takanori Gomi. He's known as the Fireball Kid from Japan. So
Mhm.
Takanori Gomi versus Ralph Gracie, which is Henzo Gracie's younger brother. And he knew from the Gracie's grabbing, Half ran, went to shoot for, I think, a single or a double, and he timed it to where he raised his knee at the right time and hit him. So it's like
Oh,
he went into it and he was knocked. I was like, holy smoke, he got knocked out like within seconds of the first fight. Like he just,
well, that's a highly skilled fighter to be able to do
yeah,
that.
he is high, but also that kind of knee can happen from luck. I remember I was
That's true.
wrestling a guy and we were just wrestling. It was training and we were on the grass because he was my friend's big brother. And it was totally accidental. Like I had mounted him. No, no, you know what it was? We were wrestling and I went to mount him. And I think when I went to mount him, when my knee connected with his head and hit him in the face and the mouth, and he's, it kind of shocked him and went back because and it was like I didn't throw a knee. It's like I was trying to obtain mount, so I obtained the mount, but in obtaining it, my knee hit him in the face, and it hit him, and he got a little stunned, and we stopped, and I was like, "Holy smokes, you all right?" And I was like, "Look at that!" Without even trying, like things can happen.
Right.
So yeah, stuff like that. But yeah, the distress. See, it's not it got to where I was at a point obsessed with watching the MMA stuff, but once it got to UFC 10, I just started to notice the commercial feeling with it. I just started noticing, like, and plus there was a lot of rules. So I basically started watching it as lessons, as watching, like, tapes of people. Like you can watch wrestling tapes and you can learn. You could be like, oh,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
that's a new, move, a hold. It's so yeah. But watching the MMA now is such a distraction. I mean, the fact that they did the uh the MMA, the UFC at the White House, right?
Hmm.
Recently, and then Dana White. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say. It's like they had a guy speaking, and he was speaking with a very heavy accent, very heavy Spanish accent, but you could understand him. And Dana White was like, "Oh, we're gonna have a translator," and they were like, "That, he's speaking English," and he was like, "Oh, it didn't sound that." And when I saw that earlier today, and I said, I think this guy, I was like, because it sounds like something like it. Dana's a smart guy. So he might have did that playing to the fact that he knows that Trump is extremely biased and racist, and that, maybe it would keep him in favor with the monster in charge right now. But yeah, I was kind of like, wow, because the guy, even though he had an extremely strong accent, he was understandable. Like I know some people that speak with, like, I notice for me, it's like usually sometimes they'll have a French accent, and if it's very strong, it's hard to understand it. But if they have like a French accent like George St. Pierre, I can understand it totally. You know, like I think there was a guy that used to come on the old channel, Johnny Cage. He would come on as, and also Blue H actually had a little bit of, because he was from, I think, Toronto, but he spoke French.
Yeah.
Yeah, so him, and Objective says, I just had a minute, so I wanted to say a quick hello to MD and Max. Good to see you, brothers. Good to see you too, brother, man. It's
Good to
always,
see you, man.
yeah, man, always good. Every time I see your name and think of you, man, I think of goodness, bro. I think of, the self-respect, the caring, the reaching out and being able to talk with people.
Yeah,
That's
yesterday was a great stream. I had to shut out early because of work, but it's nice to see getting more people, getting some networking done, and bringing in some new ideas. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
great
Zach is
job.
a wonderful person, man. Zach
Hmm.
is a wonderful person. He
Yeah.
cool guy. The other guy, I think DK, that came on. I don't know who that was, but um, he got his opinions.
Yeah,
I
and I
think
just didn't necessarily agree with everything they say,
yeah,
but I don't care as long as you present it well. That's all I care about.
exactly, exactly. We're here to learn. I mean, he it kind of loses me, man, when people bring up the Pleiadians, and stuff. I don't know. It's like I'm
Right.
trying to stay a little bit, you know, and this is not
But it's
saying,
okay if you present it well. That's all I ask for is a good
yeah,
presentation.
it's kind of like, but like when okay, if we're like being very scientific about evolution and showing how these are the flaws to show how evolution is not scientific, we have, and I would hold that to when somebody tells me about the Pleiades, and I'm saying, okay, so you're telling me that you think something. First of all, most people don't know what a Pleiades is, because I could
Right.
say, okay, if you look at the night sky, how would I know? and really, I think it's only like some part of the summer where I think you can still see Orion, the constellation, uh,
Hmm.
365 days. But I think there might could be a month or two where you don't see it during the summer months. In the winter, you see it, prominently. And once you see Orion, you can see that the shoulder star, the right shoulder star, when you're looking at it, yeah, the right shoulder star. Um, if you go and follow that in the same direction, like going up, you just from like the belt star to that one, and you go, you'll see a small little cluster of stars, and that's the Pleiades. There's another way to find it too. From There's another way to find the Pleiades. I think it's from the Big Dipper too. So it's like the Big Dipper. When you look at the Big Dipper, if you follow like the curve of the handle, I think that leads to Spica and then Arcturus. It's been so long since I've looked at the sky and studied it, because with all of the trails, always respect, fam, always, man. And I love astronomy. I have books on it. I just it's something that I've always loved. But when the Pleiades, so I'm thinking, okay, so people are coming from the Pleiades, and just, so blonde hair, blue eyed, basically humanoid. And I'm thinking to myself, like, so you don't find that, like, so somebody's coming from another star system and they're going to look like what? People from Norway?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I'm just saying, wow. So no type of life form that would be like very odd, like some, like just look at the stuff in the deep sea, you know what I mean? Alien looking insect stuff in the jungle, so I'm thinking, like, man, once I realize the person, and I'm getting to a point where I'm understanding psychology more, to the point where when somebody does something like that, I just understand that, I don't know if it's cognitive dissonance or just saying, wow, you know, it's kind of like when I hear the religious guys talk about evolution and dismantle a lot of this stuff. And then they go right back and they're like, well, that proves their religious book. I'm just like, holy smokes, man. I'm
No,
like,
the religious book isn't meant to be proven anyway. It's a belief system.
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
not meant to be proven scientifically. That is not the point of it.
Yeah.
They missed the whole point, you know?
Yeah. And so it shows me that it's a lot to do with the ego when they do that. And it
Mhm.
just, to me, it just messes, it doesn't allow us to go forward and learn. It's
Right.
very hard to go forward and learn, because there's always some type of thing where, the ego is coming in. And but the Pleiadian thing that he brought up, I was just like, wow. And even Sosa brought that up. I think he brought up the Pleiadians, like, and he was saying something about a psychic spiritual guide or something. I forgot what
Yeah,
it.
they're always mixing that in, the spiritual and the psychic, the supernatural. So it's like,
Yeah, because I'm sort of like, his theory on the universe was just amazing, with the growing universe type of thing, the material world being created to attract consciousness, So I was like, wow, that's fascinating. And see, so on that part, he's genius level speculating. And then,
and I agree with him on that. Remember, I'd always said we were spirits first before we came to Earth. So that's in line with my belief also.
mhm,
You
yeah,
know, I
but
mean,
then
I
he
don't know
goes,
if it attracted us, but we were spiritual at least first. We were immaterial beings.
but then he threw in the Pleiadians. He threw in the
Yeah,
Pleiadians. I was just like, oh, brother. I was like, all
that
right,
could be another deception by spirits, though. I think that's what it comes down to in
yeah,
my belief system.
yeah. But he threw in the Pleiadians. He threw something else. Oh, the psychic guides. Yeah.
Mhm.
The, and it was funny because Alexis had put the question, I gotta ask on his, what he feels about the moon. And I didn't really want the guy to feel intimidated. I just wanted to, because this is the first live stream with him, and
Right.
so that kind of like went very easy on that question with him, because I knew we Scribe and I had spoke with him the day prior, and and we we established that because funny enough, Scribe came out and just boldly asked them because we spoke on StreamYard privately. We didn't record it because we didn't have enough hours. That was when I didn't have the paid version. You only get 20 hours a month. So,
Hmm.
and that would have been a great, we talked to him for about 2 hours. That would
Oh
have been
wow.
a really great recording. And Scribe straight up asked me, so what do you believe about the moon and all of that? And he expressed it, and I was like, okay. And Scribe's really good at listening to someone, I've noticed, without arguing at all.
Hmm.
Scribe has a very high level of patience with that. Like he'll let a person say, me, I do, interrupt people sometimes. Sometimes I'll let them speak. So I'm very unpredictable, even when I watch myself. But Scribe is he's calm, cool, and collected. He's very, sometimes he does go off, but much more structured than when I have a conversation sometimes. But I guess I'm a little more passionate, and he's
Hmm.
more methodical, where he'll cut through it in a certain logical way, kind of like a Mr. Spock or something.
Right. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess as long as they're presenting in articulate and well presented argument or whatever point of view, then I think it's fine. Just let them to keep going. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah. He's
debate it afterward.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of like we're kind of in a way. It's kind of like Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, Doctor Spock. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, man, yeah. But this whole distraction thing, man, because he had told me earlier about Spielberg. I didn't know if it was last night, but you're saying it came out today.
I don't know. I know it's coming out this month, but
Okay, yeah.
maybe.
So I
Yeah.
think he told me it may have came out last night, Friday night, but
Hmm.
playing today. And then I said, wow, so Spielberg came out with this movie, and that to me is just a straight up distraction because it
I
said
figured something in the movie is going to be foreshadowing later on in real life. That's why I'm interested.
because I'm wondering if because didn't they just recently talk about something with UFOs and the government or something like
Yeah, it's
that?
constantly going up. Well, it's constantly. I saw some videos today. Again, they're talking about
Okay,
UFOs.
so yeah, because I'm thinking, okay, this movie's coming out, like,
Hmm.
and that's going to add into all of that stuff, to where people's going to
Right.
go, oh yeah, just like the movie. So I'm like, yeah, this is definitely another distraction created by the state under the name of this guy.
But if they're going to create something, I mean, it's good to be prepared. Can't avoid it. Just like the movie Contagion, we're gonna, oh wow, they're gonna bring out something, and they did, and it affected all our lives.
Contagion, man, I can't even believe how close that movie was. That came out what?
2013, 7 years before, and it
Holy,
was exactly a wet market, a pig at a bat, or something like that.
and
Exactly
that's
the same story we heard.
John Cusack was in that.
No, 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 that was Lawrence Fishburne was in there, Matt Damon, um, and Gwyneth Paltrow, I think, also. Lawrence Fishburne and Matt Damon were the main stars.
I'm wondering if I'm thinking of the same movie. Let me
I
see.
can look up Contagion 2013.
Contagion 2011.
Oh, 2011?
Contagion movie with Matt Damon, Jude Law,
Maybe. Yeah.
Winslet, Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah, this is it. 2011. It says. All right. So
Also even earlier. Yeah. Yep. A virus spreads from a Chinese wet market, pig in a bat. No kidding. I mean, exactly the same story as what we heard.
okay. So I'm looking for the other one. Oh, that's it. Because there was one with John Cusack, the guy who played, I think it was in the movie from the 80s, Better Off Dead.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I forgot what else. He's a known actor from like that era with like, remember Ferris Bueller's Day
Oh,
Off?
no. I know John Cusack
Oh,
is. Yeah.
okay, okay, yeah.
He was in 2012, right? That movie, other one, 2012.
Yeah, it says 2012, an end of world movie where Cusack plays a desperate father trying to keep
Hmm.
his family alive. Okay, so 2012, that was in 2009.
Hmm.
And what was that? Was that the follow up to 2001?
No, 2012 was about the Mayan calendar coming in, the world coming to an end.
Oh, okay,
It
okay.
wasn't a great movie, but it was entertaining. Well, it was entertaining. I mean, it had a lot of good special effects. The earthquake scene was unbelievable. It was pretty good, but it was an entertaining movie, that's for sure. You know, Woody Harrelson's in it. He plays the conspiracy theory guy.
Okay, that's what it is. It was a 2020 uh, Amazon Prime Video conspiracy series Utopia, where he's a benevolent billionaire biotech entrepreneur. Because I mean, this movie, and this is the crazy thing, the one that came out in 2020 on Amazon right during the pandemic, it says he came to deliver a saving vaccine during a flu pandemic. It has similarities to the whole thing, like just on another, like I would think it would be closer even than the Contagion movie.
Contagion was pretty darn close. It
But
was
Contagion, yeah, I don't. I remember seeing pieces of Contagion, but I don't remember the whole thing. So yeah,
Oh, yeah, you gotta see the whole thing. It's like no, it came out of China and it was from a wet market. The exact same story we heard in the beginning of this thing.
and this is
And the vaccine was administered through a Q-tip in the nose.
holy
Oh
smokes!
no, it's like you see that movie, you know it's planned. Once you see that movie, it's a done deal. So okay, so it is planned. I mean, you can't say anything else after that movie.
Wow,
Hmm.
wow. So it was saying that it was also being done with the Q-tip.
Yeah, well, that's how the vaccine was administered. They found the vaccine, but it was a Q-tip you had to stick up your nose, just like when they were doing the testing. You remember?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exact same thing. But
So,
it originated exactly the same as the other one originated in 2020, the same way,
mhm.
not from a lab, but from a wet market.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. So the movie was very, very similar to
Oh,
some
but it
stuff.
was ridiculously. Remember, it started in a wet market with a pig and a bat in the movie, and in real life, that's what they said happened
A
too.
fictional. It features a fictional virus called MEV-1. It's modified after the real life Nipah virus combined with elements of influenza. So Scott Burns, and he had a scientific advisor, real life inspiration. So, and zoonotic origins. Yeah, like you were saying, the bat infects a pig
Yeah,
at the market, which infects a human in the movie. And wow, wow.
and it's from China.
That's pretty deep, man. Yeah, because there was a book too, right? Wasn't there some type of book? Oh man, I forgot who. Book with yeah, because it had the thing being created, the city. It named the city in the book Wuhan, right? Wasn't it Wuhan?
Oh, I don't remember. I never read the book.
Mentioned.
Wouldn't be surprised. Google it. Yeah, at
Let me
this
see.
point, nothing surprises me.
1980. I think it was a 1980s book.
Hmm.
Oh, The Eyes of Darkness by Dean Koontz.
Oh, okay.
Originally published under Leigh Nichols, mentions Wuhan. So it a biological weapon called Wuhan 400 that was supposedly developed in the military labs just outside of the city. However, the book's details are pure fiction and different. And see, this is to show you how, wow, that for them to write that to a disclaimer. However, the
Hmm.
book's details are pure fiction and differ significantly from the real life COVID-19 pandemic. Interestingly, Wuhan was not even in the original 1981 novel. In that first printing, the bioweapon was named Gorky 400. So, and it originated in Russia, but Kuntz changed the location when the book was reissued in '89 following the end of the Cold War. So I heard that they like the opposite, that they had it in the original one and then
Hmm.
they actually reprinted it without it. Like it eventually had
Oh.
that future. Like if you go to get it now on Amazon, when somebody noticed this and brought it up, like I think in 2021 or something like that, the Amazon, anytime you went to buy it now, if it was electronic, they had already edited it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you don't get the one from like '89 or '81, like it's saying here, it won't be in the book.
Yeah, but it shows you that this stuff has been planned out well in advance.
Yeah, I mean the fact that
Yeah.
they are editing stuff like that, it has me, when somebody tries to act like I'm crazy because I'm saying that they do change definitions of words. If you don't understand how to define a word through an action, then they can change any definition on you. And I give the example of black and white. And
Hmm.
everybody, I guess Gen X and before knew that in the dictionary, everything about black and white, everything was bad for black, everything was good for white. And it was, if you look at that and somebody, I could say, okay, if they say, well, what's an example of somebody changing a definition? How would you know? And I would say, well, look at those two definitions from the earlier dictionaries where black, everything is connotated with dark, evil, bad, not good. I said, but there are things that are dark that are good. You need darkness to sleep in, I said, there's other things where you want, like, okay, certain cherries and fruits, the darker they are, the grapes, certain types, not green grapes, but purple grapes. You can tell that it's ripening because it's darkening. Other things, yes, if they're not good, they get black, dark. So you have where you have both. A thing can be good and bad. And the same thing with white. You want some things that are white, clouds, because indication indication that the clouds will be clean, but of course there's probably chemicals that doesn't discolor the cloud, but snow, and then there are things that are bad, like sugar, that's white, flour, that's white, rice, salt. You want, more gray Celtic sea salt, more if you're going to eat sugar, honey, and even honey, you got to look for to make sure it's not diluted honey. The grift is everywhere, man. The grift
Yeah.
is everywhere. The distractions, everywhere you look. If you don't keep your mind aware, it's like the Roman saying, he who will be deceived, let him. In America, it's let the buyer beware. So that keeps you aware. I remember a Native American made a good point, and he said, when you remove the bear and the rattlesnake and the coyote, he goes, you don't need to be careful. So you become less aware. But when you have to be careful, it keeps you aware. So there is, and I was like, wow, this guy's deep, because it's letting you know that the more comfort you have, the less aware you become.
That's true.
And these distractions definitely bring a level of comfort. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if when I used to play video games and watch the MMA, I mean, you know, I could sit down and enjoy a 1.5, 2 hour event. Matter of fact, I would rewatch them on the videotape. It was like a drug when it came out. When I saw the first UFC in the early '90s, I was like, wow, this is, because I was thinking, what's this skinny guy in the karate uniform gonna do? When Hoist Gracie,
Oh, Royce Gracie. Yeah, I
yeah,
like that.
because they would show like a clip of everybody, and then when if I didn't see him beat Ken Shamrock with a choke, I never would have probably went to learn. I yeah, when
Well,
seeing
Royce Gracie is what I would define as the most dangerous fighter. That's exactly the techniques that I agree with. He
yeah,
understood. Like, he was in an interview and he said the most important thing was leverage.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
100% correctly.
Yeah, and his brother Hickson is better than him. I met him in Hicksville back in, I think, '95 or '96, and he was with Hoyce's younger brother because Hickson, Horion, and one of the other brothers, I think, come from one mother, and Hoyce and Hoyler, and I think one of the others come from a different mother.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, Hickson, cool guy,
but
they
that's
were.
why he was able to beat all those big guys and he was a little guy because he understood leverage. People don't get that. That's so much important than anything else.
Yeah, no, he definitely was. It changes when more people learn, it upgrades,
Mhm.
so things come different. But that whole thing, aside from training, was very, very distraction. Like once it became so commercial on TV that now it's a major distraction. It's from the state. The fact that Dana, brought it to the White House. It's like that's a totally state controlled thing. It's always been, but we just see it more now. And the other state control, of course, ball chasing with the soccer. I mean, when you boil it down, and if somebody was going to say, okay, so what are you going to watch? Oh, well, they're going to watch some guys chasing the ball around.
Right.
And it's like, wait, so you're going to watch guys chase around a ball and try to it's like, what is this, a circus?
Hmm.
It's like, I'd rather watch even a circus is insulting to the intelligence.
Yeah.
It's like, so I'm sitting here, a zoo. You go to a zoo. There's an old saying: a zoo is a prison where everyone's innocent. It's like nobody did anything wrong to get put in any of those jail cells of the zoo. And you and I already know that they put humans in there. You know,
Hmm.
and it
Well,
yeah.
yeah. I was going to say about basketball, how it started. I read about the origins of the game in Springfield, Massachusetts. I believe it was peach baskets he used, and it was just to keep the kids, physically active during the winter time because it'd
Hmm.
be too cold to be outside. So that's how the game originated. But it's just like look where it's become. And I talk to guys, like they'll talk about the game, and again, there's so much detail about the basketball game
Hmm.
specifically. They put money on it, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's like it's just guys putting balls in a hole, man. It's not that deep.
Exactly. It's like guys shooting balls, throwing balls through a hoop. And it's like, what the? And people are clapping like seals in a circus. Like, just.
Yeah.
And then to bring in the distraction even more that people don't see is they'll have celebrities there, Jay-Z and all these people. It's, oh, look at so and so's here at the basketball game, and
Hmm.
that most people don't have a brain functioning, so they're going to want to be like people they see. They're going to do
Yes.
the straight copycat type of thing, and it's surprising, and it shouldn't be surprising, but it never ceases to amaze me. It's like how we were saying, we are defenseless against stupidity.
You know what I think really epitomized the level of stupidity were those reality TV shows like the Kardashians and all that nonsense.
Hmm. Hmm.
People worship that stuff, and it's just people living their lives, literally.
Yeah.
Going to a store, buying groceries,
Hmm.
or something. I mean,
Yeah.
people watched it just like the Truman Show, like, oh, this is so good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. People. It's. I mean, movies. Yes, they can definitely become a distraction. Moderation is really the key, but also awareness, because there are some movies that can definitely give you insight.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely.
Well,
Yeah.
there's good entertainment out there. I mean, it's just like books, you can read a trash book or you can read something that's, enlightening. I mean, it's a form of media, but it depends what interests you, you know what I'm saying? I mean, most people who watch reality TV will probably never be interested in a documentary, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. They definitely. And that's the thing. I've known people that just would never be interested in a documentary.
Hmm.
That's a very good point. It's like they got me to a point to where I'm trained in knowing not to ask them,
Yeah.
and that's it's crazy. It's like they just basically like they're not trying to, yeah, they're not trying to learn really. They're like, look, just entertain me. Which entertainment, as we see, is is you know um, is one of the definitions. The synonyms is distraction.
Hmm.
So distraction, diversion, uh, to hold the attention. The whole thing with managing the distraction, the mindfulness. So being mindful of it. That's the thing. Uh,
Yes.
Alexis, good to see you. He says, "Is gambling a state-funded distraction?" Gambling is a state-funded distraction that leads to an addiction. So
Hmm.
it's even worse. It's beyond just it is a distraction, but it is an addictive distraction. And I wonder. It's like you have distractions that are momentary. Uh, you can get distracted for the moment, so it's a temporary distraction, and then you got distractions that are addictive. They're or repetitive distractions too, and we see that happen a lot with the politics. The politics, we see the repetitive distraction every 4 years, but then within the 4 years, we see constant distractions of all, they're talking about politics, of meaningless politics, of threatening politics, of what they're going to do to the people in other countries. I mean, it's horrible when you really look at it for what it is. Just like when you look at ball chasers and you say, man, this is just what this is, dudes chasing balls. When you look at the government, you start to say, wow, these are just bullies that are just intimidating people and constantly spreading fear and hate. It's not good. It's you don't hear them say uh, positive things.
No,
It yeah, it has me like, man. Even when you look at the Biden thing, because it's not a Democrat Republic thing, it's the same party basically.
it
And
is. It really is. I mean, I don't know
yeah,
why people think it's any different. I know the message is totally different, but the outcome's the same.
yeah, yeah. It definitely. I look back and I'm just like, man, this
Even when
is
they passed Obamacare, that was no free insurance. That was actually written by the insurance companies, to get more customers for crying out loud. You know what I mean? There was
yeah,
nothing free there. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. I heard people like complaining about that a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
Because, yeah.
you had to get it too, right?
Right. And the whole thing, well, you can stay on your insurance plan to your parents for till 27. It's like, yeah, because they can pay the premiums. It's just they wanted younger people to be on their insurance paying the premiums because most younger people don't have major issues medically in their 20s. They barely go to the doctor anyway, as it is. So they wanted to make sure those people got an insurance plan who were paying premiums. That's the whole point of the whole thing. It was never anything for free. You know what I mean? There was
Wasn't
no
it
free involved.
forcing people to get it though?
Well, you'd pay a penalty if you didn't get it. You'd have to pay a penalty, I think, on your taxes if you didn't get it. Mhm. You either got it through Obamacare or you got it through your employer, but you had to be insured, basically. Or you'd pay a penalty. I don't know if they changed the laws recently or not. I don't know.
And
Um,
what was it, like a one-time penalty, or you had to
no,
pay it
I think
every
every
year?
year. Every year, yeah, and I think it would go up each year you didn't have it.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, but that was specifically written for the insurance companies. They wanted the young people on their getting health plans because they don't really ever see the doctor, so it's money for them. You know what I'm saying? It's to balance things out compared to the older people who do. Like I have health insurance, but I've gotten my money's worth out of it for sure. What they've spent on what I've paid is, it's not
Man,
even
because I
comparable.
remember people complaining about that Obamacare.
Hmm. And
I
they
didn't.
know the insurance when you go to a doctor's office. Oh, you got Obamacare. It could look like you could have Blue Cross Blue Shield. Looks no different than any others, but for some reason, I guess in the coding, they know in the numbers they know it's Obamacare, and they treat you differently. It's like I guess because it doesn't pay as much, so you're kind of a lower priority. A lot of people don't realize that either.
Hmm. The state is relentless, man.
Hmm. It's a state of the corporations because they're kind of in bed with each other at this point.
Yeah, well, I think the corporations are just a different, like, part of the state,
Yeah.
because there's definitely stuff behind the scenes. I mean, look at now they're saying this dude is a trillionaire, and I was actually going to do the stream about him and talk about it, but I don't know. I figured the ball chasers, but I knew a lot of people, they like watching ball chasers. They like looking for the UFOs. So I knew that this was going to be a pretty unpopular stream, because it's like, you know,
Well, I watch ball chasing too, but I understand the logic behind it. So it depends on the person too. I
mhm.
think there's a difference between somebody who watches it casually, can enjoy it, but versus the fanatic. You know what I mean? The person that is all consumed by it. You know, there's a difference.
Hmm. Yeah, but the UFO distraction with the movie, that is, I was surprised, and I shouldn't be. But I was definitely like, man, what better time for this guy to
Yeah.
come out, right?
Perfect timing, and you got to wonder. The reason I want to see it is it going to foreshadow events to come? That's my interest because it's Steven Spielberg, so you know they're gonna if he's gonna make the movie that he's in the know with the top people, I'm sure. So there must be something in the movie that's going to be foreshadowing that we're going to deal with soon. You know, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I heard Spielberg is in the Red Shoe Club.
Mhm.
Um, Alexis says, "What does these ball chasing games do to our brains? Why are grown men addicted to watching this?"
Mm.
Well,
Question.
yeah, that's a great question, man. The ball chasing brain games, honestly, I think they restrict the brain in some ways, and possibly could even affect the neuroplasticity of it by
Hmm.
not thinking, maybe even causing a type of atrophy of critical thinking.
Yes.
And it they're pushing this on a level, as we see, that goes crazy. Like, it's kind of like the gambling. It's kind of like, yeah, with the gambling, and
Well, you
then
know, Trump caused a lot of divorces because the political zombies. It caused a lot of people to end up in divorce court.
mhm.
Yeah, 'cause the husband may elect Trump and the wife didn't, and they separated. So that's what you get consumed by ball chasing or political, and you lose friendships, you lose relationships, you get into confrontations with people over nothing. It's like it's a way to start um, problems between people. If you think about it, it's a way for people to fight with each other and get into arguments. It's like it's very clever how they do things. It's very,
Yeah,
you know, they
yeah.
really know what they're doing as far as population control.
Mhm. Oh yeah, yeah. It's a genius level psychological control,
Yes.
and only a few people can see through it.
Hmm.
Like, we talk and we touch on certain things. We see that, Alexis, great questions with gambling. That's a clear distraction from the government, but it's
Hmm.
also an addiction. So that's like something very dangerous. And as he posed the other question, people are addicted to ball chasing. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're addicted to watching men chase balls, and it's like, why? Why are they addicted? There's something that is missing from their life that causes
Yes.
them to become that addicted to it, because it's an obsessive type of addiction. There's one thing to watch a sports game, maybe to learn how to play the sport better, but it's a whole different level of mental illness when somebody buys clothing that
Hmm.
mimics the person chasing the ball. So not only are they watching grown men chase balls, they're actually buying clothing to wear that, basically, for their favorite ball chaser, basically.
Isn't it kind of like in a way they want to feel like they're a champion too, or they're a part of it, like they won the title?
Yeah, Fantasy Island, but
Yeah.
also, yeah, there's definitely, yeah, religion too.
Mhm.
Religion, yeah, Jen's got a good point there. Are video games a state-funded distraction? Definitely, definitely. I remember they had this thing. I think it's still on YouTube, about the '70s, when there were simulations for the Air Force. LM, good to see you. Hello, good morning. Hey, yeah, good evening. It's 12:44 midnight, a little past midnight over here in New York City. I think it's the same time zone for Mr. X too.
Yeah, we're on the East Coast.
Yeah, Scribe is actually an hour ahead. It comes back to the same time as, when we switch our clocks back for the hour. That's when it'll match. When we turn them back,
Mm.
then it'll be the same time. Yeah. Good morning. I guess you must be in the UK. In the UK, I think. Yeah. So that's cool. Uh, Okay, new to the channel over here. It's in the Netherlands. Cool, man. Cool. Or the Netherlands, man. Amsterdam is a wonderful city. When I visited it back in 2010, I think around there. Uh, I know things have changed a lot.
I'm interested in seeing it. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to go, you
Yeah.
know. And I remember I got a really good price on the ticket. It was 600. No, it was 300 round trip.
Not too bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah, I flew into directly into Schiphol Airport, and then went and I think I was stayed at a hotel on Nakvalten Street. It was a beautiful, yeah. That um, now though, 2026, I think a lot of things have changed, just like Manhattan.
Hmm. Hmm. And I wanted to ask you too about the ball chasing. I mean, I know America's bad, but like I said, I like to look at things in a world view. And I was kind of watching you know, um, the news today, and they were cheering for their teams. And some of these countries, like I saw Haiti and this and that,
Mhm.
they're jumping up and down, waving their flags. But it's like, some of these other countries, I wonder if they're even worse as far as the distraction because, the country's
Mhm.
destroyed. It's massive
Yeah,
poverty. And it's like,
crazy.
but we're worried about the ball chaser. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you, man. You're right.
'Cause people
Oh,
can't even eat there and they're getting killed left and right. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like, yeah. Here,
Emerald.
at least, our poor, most of our poor people in America, they're overweight. Let's keep it real.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? They're not starving to death.
Yeah,
It's actually the opposite. You know?
yeah. America just, yeah. Emerald says Amsterdam has changed a lot. Yeah, near. I met some guys from Eindhoven when I was there. I think it was about an hour from Amsterdam, but I think Eindhoven is to the south. I'm not sure. Uh, yeah, the society is totally, totally engineered. Truth, love. Good to see you. Um, how dangerous are ball chasing fans? You've seen
Very.
videos of the Knicks fans beating up other fans after loss. They are on a level of zombie that is almost out of the movie 28 Days. Yeah, they can be
Yes.
dangerous. Yeah, they can
I
be
saw them
very.
attacking in New York a guy wearing a Spurs jersey. There was a video of that. And they made him take it off and everything like that. And it's like, why?
Recently or old one?
No, this was just a couple days ago. I think
Oh,
you can see it on YouTube. A kid wearing a Spurs jersey in New York City, and they surround him and force him to take it off. Um, yeah,
and
right, right in New York.
that's crazy. So what would they? Is that the team that they just played recently? I think to win.
Yeah, yeah, that was the game. It was San Antonio versus the New York Knicks, and the last game they played here in New York, where they won, they came back from like 30 points and won the game. Right after the game, there's a guy walking around with a Spurs jersey and a bunch of Knicks fans, and they surround him and force him to take the jersey off. You can see it on YouTube. You can see it on YouTube. Yeah,
That's crazy, man.
right
That's
downtown
the
Manhattan.
level. It's
Hmm.
like what level zombie is that?
Yeah, it's a whole different level. It's like you won the game, and then what do you care if somebody else is wearing another jersey? It's like this is idiotic. This is the level of stupidity you're talking.
Hmm.
And you see people after the games they start climbing on light poles and hanging. It's like why? Why do you need to hang from a light pole? You know what I'm saying? And then of course they fall and break their face probably. You know what I mean? And it's just like the zombie machine is real. It's just
Hmm. That's the circus. That climbing the pole.
mhm,
That's the circus.
it is.
Yeah, it's like right. Alexis says, "What is the difference between sports fans and gangs? If you walk around in another team's jersey, you can get assaulted and killed." Yeah, there's not a lot of a difference between what you're asking. What is the difference between sports fans and gangs? Not a big difference. Definitely not. I would say sports fans are basically legal and encouraged gangs. So it's like the gang, it's like how the evolutionist is religious and doesn't even know he's religious. Sports fans are part of gangs that are legal, and some of them might not know it. Some of them do, but definitely some of them don't. And we see in the games that they have overseas, some of the soccer stadiums in England and the UK, uh, they uh, they have like the people's pictures on the outside of the stadiums that are banned. This is the level of mental illness that can be formed by watching grown men chase balls.
Hmm. Hmm.
Im says Eindhoven is crazy, but people are cruel, pretty sober over there up here from to Amsterdam. Yeah, I could imagine how much Amsterdam has changed, man. Because a friend of mine went there a couple of years ago, and he said it wasn't as good as when I went. And even when I went, I heard it was better before that, years before that. So I guess, yeah, New York, Manhattan is not the same too. Nobody
No.
really wants to go into Manhattan. One of my friends, when he takes the transit in, he says he wears a stab-proof vest.
It's not
He's a
that bad, huh?
yeah, and yeah, he goes. He's a mechanic for I forgot it was like some electronic company, and he was telling me, he goes, yeah, sometimes I got to go in the city. He goes, I wear a stab-proof vest, and he's a big guy. He's 6'3", like 240 pounds. You know, uh, yeah, cool guy. I used to play chess with him. But when I was like, man, so you're wearing a stab vest going? I said, I don't even want to go into Manhattan unless it's like necessary. Nobody really does, unless you're in a rich part, I guess. But I never understood how people could be in one part of the city and it's walking distance to a bad neighborhood. To me, it's
Yeah.
a little too close for comfort.
Yeah. I know. I
Can't
noticed that
get away
about New
from
York too. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't get away from it, man. Mike Tyson was there. He opened the second coffee shop. Oh wow. Wow, man. Yeah, I heard Mike Tyson is yeah, he's doing a lot with the weed business. Yeah, he was
Yeah. I want to ask you a little bit about the cell when I get a chance here.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So now in your research, because this is something I just Googled, when I was talking about the cell and how it can barely last, it's like, what's the average? Like if you put a cell out in the atmosphere, out in, how long could it last? Maybe what's the average? Like 5, 6 hours? What have you found in your research?
Well, I think in certain single cell organisms they can live in water. It's not a matter of
Hmm.
being exposed for too long. So single cell organisms, like are you meaning like a cell from a body or a single cell organism?
I guess just good question. Let's go with single cell organism, just for to keep in line with the evolutionary tale of how things formed from a single cell. Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. So basically, if we're looking at a single cell organism, there's going to be different ones. So
Hmm.
in certain conditions, the lifespan is going to change. You have some that minutes, because they reproduce very quickly too,
Okay.
bacteria and stuff like that. You're looking at stuff that they do the tests with. I think they've been doing that test that they try to say proves evolution, but it doesn't, with the E. coli
Hmm.
reproducing but changing a little bit within the same genome. And they try to say, oh, because it's changed, that's evolution. And I mean, the reaching is ridiculous, but bacteria typically, the time between divisions, it's around 20 minutes to 24 hours to a day. So the ones that reproduce quickly, because you're doing 3 generations in an hour. That's amazing. Um, they have others in a few hours. Can they're close to bacteria. So
But do they
mhm.
need another living organism in order to reproduce? I'm saying, like, if they don't have any, I don't know how to say this, but like, say if they were located on a rock or something like that.
Mhm. I
Like,
mean, most of them I think split.
hmm.
So they divide basically. So bacteria and single cell, like amoebas, a paramecia,
Hmm.
a protist, those things being, a little bigger, larger complex. They have longer life cycles, several days before dividing. So you have that, yeast and stuff like that, unicellular fungi, um, they last from 90 to 120 minutes, say 2 hours under optimal.
Oh, so
Well,
it's really short for the majority of these.
yeah, if you're looking at this, you're looking at and these are life forms actually. So these aren't like if you take a cell, say
Mhm.
if somebody like, and I'm saying this in theory, like skin cells. I guess the dead skin cells are the ones that come off. But let's just say somebody took a biopsy of a,
Mhm.
if they could take a couple of little skin cells that are living, so they're going to have to basically cut you. And how long would those live? Would those live longer than an amoeba that lives for a couple of days before it divides? Now, when they're saying it divides, and that's another thing with single cell organisms, it's not really, it's they don't know when it divides. It's like, so if the amoeba splits itself, or the paramecia or the bacteria splits itself, it's not really dying, it's reproducing without dying. Even
Okay.
like if those cells are regenerating, and like you're seeing like new parts of it be regenerated, we do the same thing. Our
Sure.
blood, every 4 months, we got all new blood cells. So they say, like, if you were going to stop smoking or drinking or doing something, 21 days, you'll see a difference. But 4 months, you'll have totally new blood, like people that stop smoking cigarettes and stuff like that. So now you reach another level of breaking away from the addiction permanently, because now you've not did it long enough to allow your body to create blood that has no nicotine or anything from smoking
Mhm.
cigarettes. Uh, Imro says a lot of stuff out there. Yeah, the either quiet villages is always, yeah. He says, I think I joined by way of Zach's channel. I like the way the topics you talked about. You sound like a smart man who's awake. Thank you, brother. And hey, I'm glad to meet you too, man, because you wanted to awake people too, the survivors, man. Mr. Rex, all of us here. This is these are the few places that I'm so,
Very good.
yeah, to be able to talk. Zach's channel is great, and
Mhm.
there's other channels that some of them are hard to find, because usually, again, they're selling, they're pushing the distractions from the state.
Mhm.
Alexa says, MD, what are healthy distractions? What do you do to pass the time? Well, tonight, right? I had made a cup of tea. I still have some peppermint tea that I put a little bit of maple syrup. I used to drink it without the any type of sweetener, but the maple syrup, it's natural, it is organic, and so is the tea, the peppermint tea. So I'm trying to at least keep it natural. But of course, I wanted to eat something, so I have an orange. I have another one too. I'm thinking about washing it and eating it, but I cut it up while I was just talking with Mr. X, and I wanted to eat this natural Reese's Pieces. I'm still tempted to eat it, but I said the orange is more natural. So, and I have another one, and you know, it's hydrating, you know. So it's like the oranges are the healthy distraction. The Reese's ain't it's all natural too, because they got this company, that makes natural M&Ms and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's, even though I mean, and this is just happens to be me being caught with it as organic, because sometimes I'll have some oyster crackers. Like, I was gonna buy crackers a little earlier. They had these organic crackers, and they were called water crackers. So I figured, okay, I could put them in the soup. And I was reading the ingredients, and even though it was organic, it had palm oil. And the palm oil, if anybody looks it up, it's not really good. And I walked up and down the aisle like once or twice, and I was just like trying to decide. And I was like, man, I was like, why do they got to use that palm oil to make it? Why couldn't they make it organic? I'm not sure about the organic Hershey's anymore, Jen. There's a video, if you check it, about a lot of chocolate. They changed the law where people are having chocolate that almost bend and look like plastic. Now, I don't know if the video, it's definitely not AI, but I don't know if maybe, oh, I think it's a type of oil that they're allowed to put in the chocolate now. Um, yeah, definitely. Wow, after 30 years, for 2 months, he started boxing. Yeah, definitely turned the anger into energy, bro. Yeah, definitely, man. Uh, how do you deal with family gatherings and holidays where your family must watch the ball chasers? All of my family, most of my family have passed, and it's just me. So, like the other family, they're we don't really like talk at all, really. So it's me. I got one uncle that he's getting older. He I haven't heard from in about a month, but I hear from him like every like couple of months. Sometimes it'll be like 6 months, sometimes it'll be 2 months. My chocolate is loaded. Holy smokes. What advice would you give though? Oh, for watching them with ball chasing. Honestly, man, when they're watching the ball chasers, you gotta like do something else. You cannot, it's hard. I'm not gonna say that you can't, but it's hard to be in the vicinity of people watching the ball chasers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, what do you talk about? Because you can't, the only thing that can happen is you get zombified into watching the ball chasing. But if you can watch it, if you want to watch it, it's like, I don't see nothing really wrong with it. I would say it's taking a chance with becoming addicted at it, or if your mind is strong enough, you can watch it as a form of entertainment. I mean, I'm not saying I can't watch uh, a UFC, thing now since with the White House and all of that. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to watch
Can
the.
I comment on that a little bit?
Mhm.
Because I think there's a common trait that, because we have these streams and we discuss these topics. And one thing I've noticed about hardcore ball chasers, at least people I've spoken to, and this includes even people who watch certain TV shows,
Mhm.
they don't have interest in other topics like outside of that. Like when we talk about the data centers, we talk about all kinds of things. Some might call it conspiracy theories, but they just have no interest in any of that other topics. Like the real hardcore people who are addicted and can't get out of it, that's all they know in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think it comes down to the person and maybe I don't know if you want to call it IQ level or what, but they have nothing else but that. Those are the ones who get consumed by it. I
Yeah, it
noticed.
could be the susceptibility.
Yeah,
So if the better things they have in their life, the less susceptible they are to the addiction.
right. Like I
I
don't
don't.
think you'd ever be addicted to ball chasing because you have your writings, you have other things, your research that you're doing. So
Yeah.
you're just never going to be addicted to ball chasing. It's not going to happen. You know?
Yeah, I don't see myself really. I mean, and I can understand what my friend was saying about the MMA.
Hmm.
It almost gets to a point where it's kind of harmful mentally just watching that,
Yeah.
watching people hit each other all the time.
Hmm.
I mean, all of the boxers, even football players, you see the effects of CTE. They
Oh
have
yeah.
some really deep videos on YouTube about it. And yeah, the head trauma that people get, I mean,
Well, the
um,
hits they're taking are unreal.
yeah, I don't know if you've seen the videos.
I have seen a few, yeah, about the CTE, and I've seen some guys who were professional football players that even go homeless. Had so many health
Wow, really?
problems. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Sebi's, I've heard Scribe is definitely, if he comes on tonight, he knows a lot about Sebi too.
Hmm.
Is cheerleading just there to zombify women into worshiping ball chasers?
Wow.
The cheerleaders, I think, are there to attract the men, to also attract the men. Definitely to zombify women. To women will it definitely zombify. It's like a setup. It's like
Mhm.
they know the women are gonna be attracted to the guys that are the athletes, and then it's like also it attracts people. It's like Hooters. Guys go there to see these chicks, um, to see these chicks in tight shirts, showing their breast, right?
Right.
So guys, even though not normally going to see ball chasers, if you put the cheerleaders there, now it makes them want to go there to see the cheerleaders, and as a byproduct, they get addicted to watching the game.
Mhm.
So, and also that turns into kind of like some type of closet worship of these dudes. It's like I don't really get why dudes would watch other dudes. It just does, yeah. If you're not learning, like with the martial arts, and even that, it gets to a point where it's not learning; it's just brutality. Yeah, I mean, great knowledge. What's up, brother? How do I prevent? It's very hard, man, to prevent her from. She has cheerleading fans. I mean, gymnastics might help her. Yeah, the UFC girls. Yep. So, and that's a very good point. Yeah, I appreciate that. So, I am is going. Imro is saying the ring girls too. So you got the ring girls, you got the cheerleaders, but the gymnastics, the gymnastics might help because I don't think it's as ball chase in the gymnastics, and it's always good to stay in shape.
Mhm.
Great knowledge. Yeah. Yeah, the
I mean, we
cheerleading
can't
friends,
just
that's
avoid
the
all
bad influence.
activities.
Yeah, that's the bad influence. Huh?
Right.
What that?
No, so we just can't be realistic. If you have kids, you can't avoid all activities. That's kind of ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
It's
if you decide to invest the time,
Mhm.
you can make a change because it's about being there totally for the kid.
Yeah,
It's a lot, but I mean, what else are you going to sacrifice for?
of
But I
course.
understand sometimes if the bond isn't created from youth, then it's hard to reinstall that discipline, especially as the kid is getting older from say 10 to 12 to 14, 15. Now, these are years that the parent or the family member should have bonded with them when they were younger,
Yes.
3, 4, 5, and even then it should, it's just, it takes a lot. It takes a lot, man. It really, with all the distractions, because I used to see family members watch television, and I would say something when I was a kid, and they would be like, I just want to watch my show. I just want to watch the program.
Yeah.
And the thing was, it was like I got addicted to it. And it was like I saw where I got addicted to it, but I was able to break the addiction
Mhm.
because the addiction was clearly because they were watching it. If I had a chance, I would watch something different. And that was, I guess, my pure addiction for television. But then when I was with the group and you got to watch what they watch, you would watch it. And I think that's the risk of being around like with ball chasers watching that. You start to the influence can kind of, what's the word? You can be influenced basically by
Yeah.
by the people around you because they say like if you look at people, if you can't tell the character of someone, look at the people around them. Look at the people they hang out with.
Good
And
point.
what they put up with, that tells you a lot. It's like reading in between the lines. It's one thing for sure, and it's hard because psychology, even though you can teach it, the student sometimes can't get it. You get it like a joke, or a joke is, I don't know if the word is spontaneous, but when you tell someone a joke, if they don't see the humor in it, that humor, who knows what it's going to take to cultivate it, if they would ever see it, or something triggers later on, and then they get the joke and they tell you and they say, man, I got the joke. I was thinking about it. I see what you were saying. It's funny, or something like
Yeah.
that. But when does that hit? So psychology could be like that. You could try to tell somebody about the zombies and all of this stuff, and there could be a day where, for some reason, they just decided they had enough of watching other dudes chase balls, and just kind of walked away from it, or just started doing something else. It can't, like, I don't see a way. Nobody's going to be forced not to watch ball chasers if they're already watching them.
Hmm.
But something can happen. Now, I don't know what that something is, but definitely something can happen.
Yeah. Yeah, you see people all the time. They just, they start screaming at their TVs, or you see them in a bar too, getting angry. It's just all over ball chaser. They're losing their temper, and you know, heart's pumping, and they could have a heart attack if they're old enough. Yeah.
Yeah, the ball chasers are everywhere. And I didn't know. I thought it was the basketball game thing. But the fact that it's a double ball chasing event with the soccer thing you were saying.
Yeah.
So the basketball and the soccer. Wow.
Oh yeah, it's ball chasing mania going on right now.
Holy smokes, man. So this is do you know who's in the soccer one or not?
Oh, I don't even follow soccer, but the news is always talking about it. It's like the biggest deal. The soccer is
Yeah.
coming.
And the basketball was Knicks and Spurs.
Knicks and Spurs, that I do know. But
Wow.
I don't pay attention to the ball chasing during the regular season, just when the finals came. And even
Mhm.
then, I didn't know I thought the game was tomorrow night for some reason. I didn't know it was tonight.
Oh, they're happy. So they're happy.
No, they'll be celebrating in New York in your area. If you turn on the TV, they're probably all dancing in the streets right now.
Wow. I did hear some fireworks or something. I was
Yeah,
wondering what it was. Yeah, a little while ago.
that's because of the ball. We won the championship.
Wow. Okay. So that's what it was.
Yep, and they'll have a big parade soon. For the
Because
Knicks.
surprisingly, a couple of days, I think, yeah, a couple of days ago, there were some people, and they weren't the people I would suspect. They were like older suburban moms,
Hmm.
and they were talking about the Knicks. I couldn't believe it. I was listening, and I was just like, you got to be kidding me. These people were like in their late 60s, some maybe in their early 70s. And they were like, I couldn't, I was, it was kind of weird. It was kind of weird that those people at that age were Knicks fans,
Hmm.
and, or just sports fans.
Right.
And I was just like, I didn't know how that it was like a championship thing, I guess, coming up, what just happened.
Hmm.
Yeah. So now it kind of makes sense. But to see the people be addicted to ball chasing, man. Great knowledge says, I don't want my daughter distracted by ball chasing, but she's also distracted by the internet, social media on there. It's constantly pushing ball chasing and streaming. Yeah, man. It is the only way that I would see to combat that is to produce. That's what I was thinking about it. I was talking to Scribe about it because I would have to have a website to do it from. But the only way is to produce content that teaches and shows the like to say, look at how they're pushing the ball chasing. Look at how they're pushing the streaming, which is distracting. It's distracting them from the what's at hand, which would be not being zombified by that, not being a cheerleader, not being, watching the ball chasers, cheerleading the ball chasers, and also with the streaming, but to understand what's going on. And it's hard in some way, I would think it is, to get people to care. They're either going to care or they're not going to care. And this is where the ones that care sometimes care too much. Like you got people that care and they might be a little lazy on it, but they're like, yeah, I don't want more pollution, or they're like, yeah, they should regulate these pesticides. We should know about it, all of this stuff. Then you got the other ones that are just straight, like as if they got released from the psychiatric ward, going crazy, took off the straight jacket, they out there protesting in the middle of the street. That's a little too far. So, but there's some middle way to say, okay, and this is where the psychological thing comes in with great knowledge. How, because I'm thinking, how would, it's not even about not being able to teach her not to be distracted by ball chasing and streaming, but it's how to deliver that, the level of intelligence, because that's going to be very high, to say, all right, how do I formulate even a course or a curriculum, or sit down every day and talk with this person, and not just talk with them, but give them examples. So it's like when we give examples, especially now, we can say, okay, the soccer, that's definitely an example, and the UFOs. So like in the thumbnail that I put here, and then you got the generals, the military generals, the scientists, the politicians, looking at them through the double glass, the two-way glass. And basically the sports people are like an experiment.
That's a good one. Yeah. The UFO right above the soccer game. That's great.
Yeah, so yeah, yeah, it was like, this is basically what it is. It's a it's a it's it's a circus. It's a circus. When you look at it, you got the generals, and this is like the Twilight Zone type of thing, where they're distracting people with UFOs and ball chasing. So something else is going on.
Mhm.
Who knows what it is? I'm not sure, but I know that what they're doing is a distraction. And just knowing that much is an advantage.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, yeah, ball chasing, man. But when I look into, like, say, when you were saying about the single cell organisms and stuff,
Mhm.
we're talking about that. The they bring in, if you look it up, and this is the craziest thing. Like, let me see what.
But what at what point will that single cell organism, like, does it create a body? Because the body can't exist first. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh
the
yeah, no, we don't even have a single cell organism changing from that organism into something else.
no, that's purely belief system
Yeah,
thing.
exactly, exactly. And when they try to bring in stuff like saying, okay, these certain algae will attach other cells, to single cell algae will attach to other single cell algae and make
Mhm.
up a colony of a multi-cell algae. But it's not really a multi-cell algae like that.
Right.
It's more, even though some of them can even do as much as a different function, it's
Mhm.
still the same organism that's just doing a different function.
Right.
So it's not like a different organism.
Yeah, they can't form a body or a
Yeah.
part or anything. No.
Yeah. And even if they do form, like as far as joining with cells, a different part of the multicellular body, it's all individual cells. And even if these other cells are like different now, doing a
Hmm.
different function, which they would say, oh, look, it's changing. It's still from all of the same individual multi cells just acting differently.
And it still remains a cell at the end of the day. It doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not changing. And I can understand. See, this is the thing where I think it brings people closer together. The people that believe in, think they believe in science as opposed to other people, is that to try to understand, like, okay, this person actually thinks that they're doing science, and
Hmm.
some part of it, they're not going to want to believe the truth, so they're not really, they're like trying to wake somebody up that's pretending to be asleep. They already know what they're doing,
Right.
and it's not genuine. Then there's other people, because it's hard, it becomes an ego thing sometimes. There's other
It
people that will be like, wow, you know what, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like some people, usually those are the people that they never really thought about evolution, but they just took it like, okay, yeah, I guess it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the easier ones. Yeah, but golf is definitely ball chasing. Golf is Alexis.
I
Yeah,
agree 100%.
yeah. Imro says nowadays the internet television is predictive. Yeah, it's really crazy, man. The internet predictive programming, man, is crazy, man. Internet setting boundaries is, yeah, it is. It's very important, man. Very. Have a watch. Yeah, Zach Hubbard's got great videos on how the sports is rigged, script, and the people. Yeah, Zach is definitely the man to check. Check out um, Zach Hubbard here. Number games.
But MD, can I ask you a quick question? If one day you came to the conclusion after all your research that it was a poof, would that dramatically change your outlook on this world?
No, no, no. I would think that the proof is, something is creating the proof. Something is creating
Right.
the instantaneous formation of it. But like thinking, kind of like how hyper, uh, what is it? The
Hostile hyperborean.
Yeah, Hyperborean. Yeah, that guy. He was saying. I understand what he's saying about always is. So, and again, even that concept, and it's a pretty deep concept of. I think if Azraroon was here, there was something in the Gita that talked about uh there was never a time where we didn't exist, and there will never be a time when we don't. So like it's just always creation. It's just,
Hmm.
and that's kind of, it's hard to even think of, but it again, it's still coming from a place of we never know, and kind of like
Sure.
you said a couple streams ago, we're not going to figure this out. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, I agree 100%. We're never going to figure it out. If you look at it from the perspective of us figuring it out, then obviously you're 100% correct. We can't figure it out. But I do believe the information can be given to us by whatever this power is. You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
I'm not even sure of that. It's like, how do we know it's accurate? And it's not a bad thing in not
Hmm.
knowing. I think it's kind of fun in trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, if you play a video game or something, if you know the outcome, it might not be as fun, or who knows, but yeah.
But it is. I don't. I guess I don't look at it as fun necessarily, as more just reality.
Hmm.
Uh, because I don't. There's a lot. Like I think the more you find out about this reality, it's the less fun it probably is. You know what I mean? The
Well,
more uglier it becomes, I guess you could say.
it could, if it can become uglier, that means it has the potential to become prettier.
Sure,
So yeah,
absolutely.
because we can't have one without the other. So that's the thing. So we have both, and we're just saying, okay,
Hmm.
what is there something that could make it come out uglier or prettier? It's like, is there a way to kind of
Right.
keep it on the prettier side? Maybe with our thoughts, maybe with pre-planning, of preventing, to say, okay, I plan this out to where Everything is less stressful. Um, you know, so it's really boils down to thinking, really.
Yeah.
And,
It's
and
like, when you, oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, no, no, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, it's like, say we mess with drugs or alcohol. Once you understand there's a metaphysical presence out there, that those people can be possessed by that metaphysical presence. So if you're dealing with drunk people, you might encounter a person you thought was cool and they turn into a total jerk. You know what I'm saying? Or they turn into something else. But
Hmm.
you realize that these substances can open the door to these beings taking possession in a way. It's more of a different outlook on life, I guess, and what things can happen. Like at first you're kind of oblivious to it, maybe, you know, but then once you're aware, it's like you're just more in tune with how things can go sour real fast, in this reality. So,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? You're more aware of the traps that are out there versus somebody who didn't know they even existed. They can walk right into it.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely learning. I would think. I mean, learning has kind of. I've noticed it's been. It, I think it's just more obvious because I want to say that it's getting like to where people don't want to learn, but the more I think about it, I'm like, I don't think anybody ever really wanted to learn ever.
I
You know?
agree. I agree.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know a great example of that is your Black Pill books, because that was major learning right there. And a lot of these guys just didn't want to learn. They didn't want to learn. That was great information. That's one of the reasons I supported the stream in the back. You know what I mean? And previously, because I thought it was good work. But the guys who would come on, the guests, they were just like lost in space. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times. You
Yeah,
know, they
yeah,
just they weren't consuming the information. They just like the roast. They wanted to hear you roasting, but they didn't want to actually get the real info that you wrote in the book. And
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. A lot of them. Yeah, I was talking with Scribe about it today. Again, he's still, he kind of.
Oh, I mean, I'm being honest. He wants you back there so bad. That's his whole.
Yeah, he just. I
It's
told him
obvious at
that,
this point.
yeah. I said the whole thing. You know what it is? It's changed so much. So it's not
Yeah.
even like you could jump back in there. That it's not like I want to. It's sort of like just looking at it logically.
Hmm.
It's like, wait a second. I mean, and there's been some big changes because Kevin Samuels passed,
And,
AR.
and I heard Donovan Sharp today. Actually, you know what he was talking about? The trial, the Carmelo Anthony trial.
Wow. So they
They're
have
not
no content. They have no content whatsoever.
nothing. Yeah, but they're not even touching dating. It doesn't even come in the register.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I heard somebody told me lasagna was on Richard Cooper the other day.
Really?
Yeah. Who was it? They said it's I think it's in a comment on one of the last live streams on the regular comments.
Oh,
Somebody left a comment saying that it sounded like lasagna. I guess somebody called in. Maybe, never know. Never know. I
yeah.
didn't see
No,
a link.
it's not the same. It's you were doing it back in the heyday, and you saw how far that went. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, dudes, yeah, they're not even talking about the subject, because you know what it is?
No.
People, yeah, they just once the grift is up, I mean, people, I could still see some of it having an audience, but those guys in particular, they basically destroyed their whole thing because
Hmm.
they people saw what they really were, and it was just, I mean, yeah, once you get exposed like that, they still have an audience because I think the fact that lasagna went on there and all of that, uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's kind of pathetic actually. But I could do something. But the thing is, it would have to be a very, you know, organized thing. Like Scribe was saying I guess when he spoke with Gauss, that he thinks that Gauss wanted to help do something. But I don't know. I didn't listen to the stream. I fell asleep. And
You know what they should do if they really want it? They should set it all up for you and just invite you as a guest, basically. You know what I mean? Make it
yeah,
easy
well,
for
I
you.
think they were, thinking of something like that. I don't think it's going to get anywhere. It's like,
Probably.
um, It could, but yeah, I just don't see it. You know, I'm not.
It's no, it's not going
Yeah,
to get. No,
yeah,
it's over.
and yeah. People. I mean, you had the Beak. They're not around. Yeah,
Hmm.
Kevin Samuels not around. ARC Tate is gone, destroyed. They Nick Closet and all of that. You know, it's like so much scandal and ridiculousness beside the losing major people that were in it. uh I mean, possibly the biggest one in the whole dating scene might have been Kevin Samuels at one point.
Yeah, and he wasn't there on pickup artistry. It was more. I don't know what he. He's kind of like the original Fresh and Fit type thing, I guess, going on.
Yeah, no, I think he put them on because I remember when he only had like about 100,000, then he went to like a little over a million within, I'd say, 2 months.
Hmm.
Lasagna said he didn't call man school, but I've heard him talking for hours on your show. It really sounded just like him. Oh man. Yes, man. Yeah, man. Definitely rest in peace. The lasagna, it could be him. It could be him because yeah. I mean, but you know, hey, people want what they want. And I understand that dating and stuff. I told Scribe, I said I could do a couple of short videos maybe or maybe a short
Hmm.
of the dating circus and I'll see if I can maybe with AI or something because if you use AI right, it can work. I've seen
Hmm.
some where I'm like, okay, it's just a matter of overdoing it, because some you might be better off with narration and pictures,
Hmm.
or even a little bit of animation, some picture, and it comes out more explanative.
Yeah, I mean, I like these subjects better anyway. But
Yeah,
I know these guys are
yeah, I'm
just
just
dying.
telling.
They
Yeah,
want the old. They want to go back in time, and it's
yeah,
not the same.
yeah,
It's they don't get it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They don't.
I
I
told
don't
him, I
think you
said,
would ever roast people like you used to. Honestly, I don't
yeah,
think you ever
yeah, it
would.
wouldn't be, it can't, I don't think it could be roasting because everybody's gone.
Yeah, who would you roast?
Yeah. So,
There's nobody to roast.
yeah, the only possible thing is just talking about a few points, and stuff like that, because everybody else, you'd have to talk about the real substance
Hmm.
of, of situations and stuff like that.
I mean, you can't even go on any. There's no pickup videos. So this, it's like there's a few here and there, but from guys you never even heard of.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's not like some famous people doing pickup. It's.
Because what was it? And I kind of missed that opposition with White Pill, Coach White Pill, was it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh man, and him and Kevin Ray, they were cool. They were cool. They were
Right.
funny.
Right.
There
That's
were
back
so
in the
many
heyday.
characters. Yeah, it was characters.
Hmm.
The banana suit.
Yeah, you don't get that anymore. He's not doing any more banana suits. There's nobody
Yeah,
there's nobody like that to really go
yeah,
after.
yeah. We were in a peak time with that. Which the
Yeah,
knowledge will definitely, the knowledge will definitely spread. Most
it
people
will.
don't know what they want. Yeah, they follow orders.
Especially now with the AI revolution that's going on. This is a big deal for crying out loud.
I think Alexis is saying, "What's your thought on the famous saying, if you can't beat them, join them?" I feel there's truth in it. For example, AI.
Hmm. I'm not sure the question.
I think he's saying if you can't beat them, to join them. Or if you can't them, join them. I don't know if I think he means can't beat them, join them. And I understand what he's saying with the AI.
But you can't beat AI.
Yeah, everybody's got to learn to use AI, and it's not saying that you got to just join it. I would say it means you have to learn it really,
Hmm.
because you can join it and just use it, but if you learn it and realize that okay, there are limitations, but yeah, it's a tough one.
But
It's
it's an important question with this AI and the data centers because we're building a beast that's gonna need more and more energy. Think about it. If AI can teach itself and it wants to learn the secret, the
Yeah,
knowledge of the whole
definitely.
universe,
Yeah,
forget it.
Cybertron.
It will be. It
Yeah,
will be
it's
because we
definitely.
know, I believe there's a creator, and I believe the vastness of information is so deep. Like, if let's say AI wants to even learn about the human cell, and we know that the deeper you go, it seems the more complex it gets. So AI is going to want to know that, and it's going to demand more energy. It just never stops. I
Mm,
mean, yeah, because it gets so complex the deeper you get.
mm-hmm,
It's going to want to, it's the need for that information is immense,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because AI can never be at the level of the creator, in my opinion, in my belief system. That's why it's going to get crazy. It's going to want to get there, though. That's the thing. It's going to want to get there. AI is going to want to be like the creator.
And
And
you said the biggest AI center is China,
currently it's China. Yeah. I don't know. They have those plans in
and
Utah to build
yeah,
one that might be bigger, but currently it's in China. Yeah.
wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah. We're feeding the beast. If it wants to become as intelligent as the creator, it's the whole world's going to have to be a computer, basically, a whole data center eventually.
Wow.
And the energy requirements that we're going to have to feed it. I mean, I saw one picture where they had uh, nuclear power plants just surrounding the data centers
Yep.
all over the place. Yeah, this is a major deal that people aren't aware of. It's a major thing going on right now in our world.
I hear you, man. That's yeah, distractions. That's why I think a lot of these distractions are always on
Hmm.
tap 24/7. And now we're, these couple of main ones here, with the UFO, soccer. Yeah,
Hmm.
the distractions are always there because there's always something that, you know, it's like right there, but they try to distract you from. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
what are they distracting us from? That's the question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The whole AI, yeah, AI better figure out how to feed itself. I think it's gonna have humans,
Hmm.
yeah, this is a tough one when you really look at it.
I could see some cities or some towns being completely wiped out for a data center.
There's some videos with people and you could hear the noise in the background. It's like an airport, just with like the planes or something humming, but it's the data center. And
Oh, yes, I've seen that.
yeah, and it's pretty, it's like it's not you look at that like wow. It's kind of like Flint, Michigan, but with
Mhm.
noise.
Really?
Yeah, so kind of like the way the Flint is, you got to watch out for the water. This is it's like who was it? I think they had a video where they talked about the noise. There was a guy that had a meter that was showing how it was causing illness.
Really?
Yeah, some of the noise was like a subsonic frequency, and it was messing with. I forgot what it was, but the videos are on YouTube. Yeah, if you look up the
I
data.
did hear the thing. I can't remember what news report about the noise. I did hear about that. The
Yeah,
people were complaining.
yeah, the
Um,
health effects, because there's health effects from the noise and the frequencies. Like this
mhm.
one guy, he did excellent work on a video. Yeah, so there.
Well, I think what they're going to do is just they can't get rid of the data center, so they're going to get rid of the town,
Yeah,
relocate people en masse, to make room for data centers. They're probably going to have to build, certain cities and just cram people in um, to make space for these data centers. People will be living in like,
well, Utah. I mean, I wonder because they're going to build it next to Salt Lake City, I think,
that's the plans. Yeah,
and pull energy off the lake too. I think.
right. And off the grid too. And people are complaining that, they could pull all the energy off the grid. It won't be enough for the residents.
Wait, is that the one they're saying at 60 miles, or is that somewhere else?
I have to Google it. Let's
Because
see.
I think 60. I know there's one in Ohio. They said, and North Ohio, and over it uses over 300,000 gallons of water a day to cool it.
Mm,
And once it's cooled, I think it has the forever chemicals in it
Yeah, this is a planned 7.5 gigawatt encompassing 40,000 acres in rural Utah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, they're going to take over certain towns. I don't think they'll allow a population there. Uh,
Yeah.
that's, they'll have to create these cities or these buildings, with cubicle-sized apartments or something like that, just to make space for these data centers
Yeah.
as they grow. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I've been up kind of early today, man. It's like almost 2. I think it's 1:40.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
about to take my energy drink to stay awake myself.
Yeah, man. It's Sunday, so yeah, tonight we'll have one, see what's up. I'm gonna try to start pumping out a video, a short uh
Hmm.
community post, but every day, hopefully. But
Have you been getting a lot of hits with the ball chaser AI video?
not really, not really. It may be around 100 and something, but yeah,
Good
that's
time. It's a
yeah,
good
it's
time.
just yeah, I guess hopefully I'll make a short. I'll look into something producing some more content. But yeah, tomorrow, uh yeah, go live. I was gonna do it about the trillionaire thing. I don't know if you heard with the Elon.
Yeah, Elon Musk, the world's first trillionaires.
So it's ridiculous. And but then yeah, I said let me do the ball chaser
I'll
one.
guarantee you that's not all his money. He's the face. He's
Yeah,
the
that's
face.
yeah.
No way, no how one man's gonna have it
Yeah,
all.
yeah, no,
No
that's
way.
yeah. But I figured the ball chaser was more relevant.
I think it was too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I figured yeah with that. But yeah, I'll see I had another one too. I was gonna do the mushroom one again too, because
Hmm.
that one there was one lady, if she gets back to me, she has a Spotify and she had a video talking about that mushroom with the little people, that people see the little people.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I wrote to her, and if she writes me back, I'll check. Yeah, I'll check my email, maybe
Oh, that
see.
would be great. I'd love to hear about
Yeah.
that.
So hopefully she'll let me know. But yeah, man. Yeah. Thank everybody in the chat, man. I'm kind of tired. I'll stream tonight, and yeah, I'm trying to do the everyday thing at night. And
Appreciate it. I
yeah,
appreciate it.
thanks, man.
It's
Definitely.
hard, some nights, I'm working, so you know how it
Yeah,
is. Don't
yeah,
get enough.
definitely. Always a pleasure to have you here. Have everybody in the chat, and yeah, we'll definitely talk soon. You guys take care and have a good night.
Have a great night.